Hello everyone, welcome to Business Live. Ahead in the bulletin tonight, Cocoa Board loses $1 billion in the wake of the coronavirus and fears projected syndicated loan might not be realized. Also coming up, Chamber of Agribusiness blames government for high food prices. We'll hear from the Ghana CEO. Plus, panic buying leaves supermarket shelves empty as lockdown enters week 2. We've got details coming up. Do stay with us. While we're just hearing what the coronavirus pandemic is doing to the oil markets, here's what it's doing to the cocoa market. Ghana's cocoa industry could suffer darker days ahead as the coronavirus pandemic has not just plunged cocoa prices on the world market, but also stalled the current syndication process for loan facilities for the 2021 crop season. CEO of Cocoa Board, Aboagye-Wiafe, tells Joy Business the plunge in cocoa prices has so far cost the country $1 billion.
The buyers, have closed their windows. So we are not doing buying. The price of cocoa had tumbled. It was going up. It was around $2,400, $2,500. Now it's gone down below $2,000, And that alone tells you, immediately it brings to Ghana a deficit of almost about $1 billion. That alone. So if this thing should continue, even going to pay our farmers is going to be difficult because we are unable to syndicate right now. There's a time when we should syndicate with banks. We arrange everything until August, so that by August we are sure that already we secured money, and then we go and sign in September. This time around, most banks out there have closed. And then also those that are working, when you call, they tell you that the decision makers are not there. But most of these decision makers are people whose ages are above 50. So they've been asked to stay home. So they are not there. So it's really affecting the industry. Cocoa is the backbone of the economy. And once cocoa is affected, it means that the entire economy is going to suffer. As we speak now, even shipments have been affected. We cannot send cocoa to the Middle East and then in Asian countries. We can't ship there. Even in Europe, Amsterdam and so on and so forth, we are having difficulties. We try to send documents outside. Normally, the documents ought to be in their original hard copy form. We could not send it because flights are not going. Honestly, the risk, the financial risk coming from COVID-19 is enormous. It's huge.
The Finance Minister, in a statement to Parliament on the economic impact, proposed a number of measures government would like to undertake to deal with the negative fallout of the coronavirus on the Ghanaian economy. Amongst the measures was the minister disclosing African finance ministers working with the United Nations Economic Commission, UNECA, for Africa to ensure multilateral and bilateral partners provide some debt relief for African governments. Joining me via Skype is Philip Namfori, economic and financial news contributor to Joy Business, with some more perspective on this. So, Philip, this collaboration between UNECA and African finance ministers, good move?
Yeah, Darryl, thank you very much. I think broadly speaking, it's a good move. But let me give some context. Over time, we've had issues about Africa's large debts in terms of sub-Saharan Africa. Remember last year, the IMF managing director spoke about the fact that Africa's debt was ballooning out of proportion. That's one. Two, over the course of history, we've had some debt. Let's talk about HIPIC, the Highly Indebted Poor Country Initiative, as well as the Multilateral Debt Relief Initiative, that's the MDF. So, yes, we need some debt relief because if you look at it, Ghana, for example, where in 2020 we're projecting to pay 21 Ghana's interest payments, right behind 25 billion in terms of wages and for public service workers. So I think it's a good call. I hope it's fast-tracked and then to fruition sooner than later.
All right, let's come home to Ghana. Philip, give us a picture of Ghana's debt numbers with our partners.
Okay, so in terms of our external debt, I put together some information for you. I'm sure this stage as we discuss it. In 2018, I must add that this data is at the Bank of Ghana, so the figures reflect 2008, but we would use them for the discussion anyway. If you look at the breakdown, we have about 6 different types of creditors. The multilateral creditors, example, World Bank, IMF, development. We have the bilateral creditors, country to country. So if Ghana goes for a loan from Japan's agency, that's Japan International Cooperation Agency, or DFID, or Germany, that's bilateral. The export credit agencies also, these are that finance import. So Exim Bank is one. We have other concessional credit also. Then we also have commercial credit. So if Ghana, let's say Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, HSBC, that's commercial borrowing. Then we also have what capital markets that take our loans from. And if you look at the spread of it, Darrow, the preponderance for the quantum is with multilateral, about 8%, 56%, between 30% and 30%. The next highest is the international capital has been growing bonds, and about 28% in terms of external. 88, it was around $70. Then the next one comes the commercial book of the international bank, HSBC, exit. So we realize that in terms of quantity, we owe more to the multilateral creditors, followed by Eurobond, and then commercial loans will go for complete international. So you see that we are due to the multilateral more than the. However, some are asking that will this international capital markets borrowing, that's the Eurobond. I think that's where the issue is, because apart from relief across the board, that's good for us. If we are going to divert 21 Ghana cedis to other critical sectors of the economy, I'm sure you know what the benefits are, especially this time of.
All right, Philip, now we will try and have this conversation subsequently on what this means for us going forward. Now, you're watching Business Live. Let's move on to other stories tonight to do with panic buying in some supermarkets. And well, starting the second week of the lockdown of Greater Accra and Ashanti region, and shop owners say there is still panic buying, leaving the shelves of many shopping malls empty. Charles Aite assesses how dire the situation is as owners adopt new ways of not just minimizing the impact of panic buying, but also stepping up safety measures.
Of the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions has sent mixed feelings to some shoppers in Accra who are racing to stock up in times they describe as uncertain and unexpected.
Something is really happening because most of the time you come, you have items on the shelves. A few weeks back, I've been here and you find things on the shelf, but now some of the places are quite empty, you know. And this is not the first, but I drove past certain places, and the places are closed, some are empty. Right. Yeah.
What about the prices? Are the prices okay?
Yes and no, because it's shot up in some of the places.
Joy Business visited Situdia Supermarket at the North Industrial Area in Accra and was greeted with many empty shelves and deep freezers. I have here with me the store manager, Francesca, to help us understand how these uncertain times are having a toll on the marketing scenes here in her business. So first of all, this is an empty shelf. You haven't stocked yet?
We actually stocked yesterday, but then most of the customers are doing panic buying due to the president's announcement. So they are really getting the stock fast. But then tomorrow we'll be getting new stocks.
Food supply chains in Accra and Kumasi have all been exempted from the 14-day lockdown directive, with only deliveries and pickups accepted for now. Amidst these interventions, supermarkets are still being overwhelmed to meet demand and stock shelves. Amid the scramble for essential foodstuff and products, price gouging and hoarding has been the order of the day. Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, Samuel Agri, reveals most supermarkets are now looking at how to keep up with the huge demand from patrons. This year's sales will have no impact on prices on the shelves, especially when all supermarkets under the association have resolved to keep prices relatively stable in the wake of the 14-day lockdown.
Actually, what we intend doing is that to ensure that by 6 p.m., every worker is closed and gone home, so that the streets will be free of people moving around. And the supermarket staff also has been reduced, running shifts.
On a normal day, if you visit this particular place, you should find the freezer full with various assortments of meat, but this is all I could find inside, just this one. Meanwhile, shopping malls and supermarkets under the Food and Beverage Association have adopted some safety measures to prevent the spread of the coronavirus in the retail food and beverage supply chain. In these times of the lockdown and the coronavirus, they don't know what awaits them inside. Empty shelves and the fears of high costs of products amid panic buying in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak. I'm Charles Aite for Joy Business.
Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana is blaming government for the high prices of foodstuff on the market before and during the lockdown. According to Chief Executive of the Chamber, Anthony Morrison, there is an urgent need for a mapping strategy to link farmers to the direct market to ensure adequate food supply at reasonable prices.
If there is a strategy in place, okay, now what they would have done is that, okay, where do we get most of our food from? Maize, millet, rice, yam, cassava, beans, sorghum. Where do we get all this from? What about the vegetables? Where do we get it from? So you map out right now. As we speak, the cost of transporting from Passa to Accra have gone up. The cost of transporting from Techiman to Accra have gone up. Okay, that implies that consumers will be buying at a higher price. And they are at home, they are not making money, they are not earning money. So how are they going to buy? You know, now, Gari have moved from 12 cedis per Olunka to 30 Ghana cedis per Olunka. Okro now sells at 1 finger, 1 cedi. Okay, 10 tomatoes is now going for 25 Ghana cedis. Okay, these are the smaller ones.
And you think this is as a result of the non-planning of
exactly
unavailability of a strategy, kind of.
Yes, if the strategy was right in place. Yes, of course, to some extent, the government would have said that, okay, our warehouses in Ejura, Ejisu can accommodate 500,000 metric tons of maize. And this is how it's going to move. We're going to put people on the market, intelligence, pick up intelligence, that, okay, prices on the market is going up. What can we do? Then the government is to find a way to infiltrate the market, set up people on the market to sell at a controlled price. Now, we have liberalized the market.
But when that happens, are we not going to control the pricing?
Because no, because
you know we have a free market. So the moment you go to the market to get your own people, get your own intelligence, it means you want to control the market now. Is that the situation?
No. So you are happy that prices have moved from 12 Ghana cedis to 30 Ghana cedis per Olunka?
No, I'm not happy.
That is criminal.
But my question is, so should we change?
No, I'm not saying you should change. What government is trying to do is to cushion and protect the consumer.
Let's turn to energy matters now. The LPG Marketers Association says it is not against the National Petroleum Authority's reason for imposing a new cylinder recovery margin on the LPG price build-up. Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabi Kumi, says the 13.5 peswa additional tax introduction is rather disingenuous.
Our issue is not the money they want to find for this purpose. We believe that money must be paid for. Cylinders, branded cylinders must be paid for. We agree. Our bone of contention is where the money is being taken. The fact that it's going to come as an additional cost on the products, that is where we have a problem. As I did indicated earlier on today in your studios, there is 5 peswa LPG promotion levy margin, which has been on LPG for the past 20 years. This margin currently rakes in about 1.2 million cedis a month. We have no idea what that money is being used for currently, but we believe that when we go into that fund, we should be able to get enough money. Indeed,
what sort of promotion was it geared towards? I mean, that fund that you're talking about, promotion?
It's a general LPG promotion. It's not specific as to we are going to use it to do this. What we also do know is that occasionally the ministry use part of these funds to buy cylinders and distribute to rural areas. But we believe there is enough funds in that fund that when we go in there, we should be able to get some money to fund this thing so that the consumer does not, we do not burden the consumer further. Because as I did indicate, all the sub-region, all the countries in the sub-region that are using LPG are subsidizing them. They are subsidizing the product. This is the product Ghana we used to subsidize some time ago. We got to a point, we got to full cost recovery, and now we put about 20% tax on it. And now we are going to increase it further. We believe that will be unfair to the ordinary consumer.
Meanwhile, the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association also renewed his call for government to remove taxes on LPG prices in order to achieve government's quest of increasing penetration of the commodity in the country. Gabi Kumi cautioned the downstream regulator that LPG consumption will start declining if the numerous taxes are not removed.
This tax is going to undermine government's quest to increase penetration of LPG. To be honest with you, since taxes were introduced on the product from 2015, LPG consumption has been relatively very stagnant. If you take it from 2006 to 2015, where there was no tax on LPG, we were growing at an average rate of 16.16%. After the tax had been introduced in 2015, that's where we had a special petroleum tax and all the taxes being introduced on the product. From 2016 to present, LPG consumption has been relatively stagnant. And our projection is that if we don't do anything drastic about the price of LPG, going forward, LPG consumption in Ghana will start declining, which is going to have dire consequences for our environment and for our nation. We are asking government already for the past 2 years. We have been banging on the doors of government to consider removing all taxes from LPG so that we make the product tax-free, so the ordinary Ghanaian could afford. LPG is a product with an elastic demand. What that simply means is that the only way you can grow, you can increase consumption, is to bring down prices so that you can attract a lot of people into the consumption net. So government objective of trying to increase penetration from the current 25% to 50% by the year 2030 could be achieved. But with this kind of attitude, with introduction, even if there was no new margin on it, the 20% taxes on LPG is going to make the achievement of government objective very, very difficult. That is why we have been calling that that 20% should be removed.
While still on energy matters, although the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has disclosed that there is no change in electricity tariffs for the second quarter of 2020, there are calls on them to reduce the tariffs. The call to reduce the cost of power comes as some businesses close down and others send workers home in the wake of the spread of the coronavirus. Ghana has recorded 214 cases so far, but are these calls justified? There's more in the following Business Desk report put together by Northern Aboagye-Wiafe.
The call for a reduction in tariffs is to see a review in electricity tariffs for all classes of users to reflect the current cost of generation in the electricity power mix. This is in light of the falling prices in the key inputs, which is fuel, for power generation on the world market, which makes it fair and reasonable for the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, to consider the immediate review to give relief to businesses and all users. Data available to Joy Business shows from last review of tariffs, which took effect from July 1st, 2019, the Commission made their tariff determination based on some key assumptions, including the price of crude on the international market, which have changed substantially. With respect to natural gas and heavy fuel oil, as fuel for the generation of electricity for the 2019-2020 tariff period, the Commission approved a $6.08 million British thermal unit as the weighted average delivered price of gas and $390 per metric ton for heavy fuel oil. This has now seen a drastic fall in demand. The current price for natural gas has fallen from $6.07 million British thermal unit in July 2019 to about $1.8 million British thermal unit as of today. At the same time, crude oil has fallen to almost $20 per barrel. All over the world, countries that depend on natural gas and fuel have seen prices of electricity going down, and for that reason, Ghana cannot be an exception to this obvious reality, as it has always been the case for tariff review in Ghana, whereby utility providers submit proposals to the PURC for upward review. Today, consumers of electricity in Ghana deserve a reduction, hence the call on the Commission to act in the interest of electricity consumers and review prices down. We are hopeful that a timely reduction in the tariffs would help businesses and consumers who would have been impacted heavily by the coronavirus to have some space to breathe. With most people at home on reduced income and businesses operating under capacity as a result of the global pandemic, tariffs reduction would go in a long way to mitigate their plight. Northern Akwa reports.
And finally tonight, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has assured that the paperless clearance system at the ports is to support all forms of clearance in order to reduce numbers of freight forwarders or clearing agents. According to the authority, importers can sit at the comfort of their offices or homes during the lockdown period to transact business and get their goods cleared. Managing General Manager in charge of Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Esther J. Bidonko, who spoke to Joy Business, said the initiative is making gains with automation at the port.
It's been successful. We have made some gains, and we are just supposed to, consolidate the gains and improve upon the little areas that are there. So, yes, paperless, I will always say, was successful, because if you look at the level of automation and even taking GPHA as an example, if you look at the level of automation we were able to reach with our activities in the delivery chain, I can only say that it was successful, because before then people have to queue a lot before they can get our invoices. And then when we did the paperless, now today they sit in the comfort of their offices, they request on the GCNet interface for an invoice, and then within 3 minutes invoice is sent back to that interface, and they are able to know how much they have to pay. They go to bank, pay. They don't have to come to us. They go to the EcoBank and agree that we have. They pay, and then they are scheduled to come for their cargo. So obviously for us it's been successful, and I think the whole port community attests to that.
And that story ending Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwa. We are back same time tomorrow.